Hey guys, my name is Wits. By now you probably have seen many videos about the new filter system. In any case, to access the filter system, just press your inventory button and then just click on the weapon, any weapon, and then come down where it says filter all as junk and then just click on that. And then you're going to be presented with the filter menu. Now the first tab that you see is the weapons tab. This is the default settings. So if I click on the Y button for controllers, it's the reset button. So if you want to make sure that you are on the default, this is the reset button to actually make sure it's on the default. This is the way the developer set it up. So just for the weapon, leave this as is. The reason being, because it already set up where it is not going to delete your unique weapon, like your Thunder Cage or your Enduring Legacy. So just leave it as so. Where it says exclude, where it says weapon with enhanced unique ability, exclude. Just make sure this is set up. Otherwise, you will delete your hard-earned unique weapon. And you definitely don't want that. But the rest of it, like I said, just leave them as is. So it's going to say rare tier and lower. Just leave it as is. It's going to say 100. Just leave as is. Unless you want to mess around with things. But don't do it. And then just make sure you hit apply if there was any other setup before that. Just make sure you hit apply to make sure that it works. And then you can come here and then just press the corresponding button. On controller, it's the right analog stick. And I know I play on PC. On PC, it's the shift button. So you click and hold. And then it will put the delete icon on all the weapons that you want to get rid of. And anything that you favorite is not going to be touched. That means you need to make sure that you favorite all your best stuff. Like your unique weapon. Make sure it is favorite because you never know. So once you do that, then you can see you can just press the corresponding button again to actually delete. And this will delete all the weapons that you designated as junk. So we hit complete and we are good to go. So we clean up our inventory for the weapons. Now that we filtered and cleaned up our weapons inventory, it's time for the reactor. So let's go to reactor. So I'll show you something real quick. Now on our reactor page, you can see that they have different shapes. Now for you to understand what shapes is what, it is based on the skill power stats. Like for instance, if I see on this one right here, which is a frozen singular reactor, if you look at under the skill power boost ratio, you will see that there is chill skill power boost ratio and also singular skill power boost ratio. This means this diamond shape right here is going to be a singular stats every time you see a diamond. This one you can see that you get singular, right? And then this one, you can see that you have singular skill power. So that's what that means. Now, if you want to be more specific about it, just go here, right here. And then just come here. And if you click on dimension, for instance, you will see that every different type of reactor, like for instance, this is a toxic reactor, but it also have a dimension skill power ratio. That's because it is triangle. So every time you see the triangle, it's going to have to do with the dimension skill power boost ratio under the skill power boost ratio portion of the reactor. So that's how you would know how all of them means if you don't want to memorize anything. Now let's go back to the filter. So let me make sure that everything is all, and then we're going to go back to the filter. So go back to the filter, filter all as junk, and then we go to reactors. So we're going to work on the filter. Now for the reactors tab, this is the default setting. To make sure that you are on the default setting, just come on the bottom where it says reset. Just click on the reset. That way you are on the default settings if that's what you want to filter. And then make sure that you hit apply anytime you change something. That way your application will take effect. So with the default setting for reactors, you can see that rare tier and lower for reactor tier. And then for the reactor level, you see it's level 100. That means if you already complete the campaign, you only worry about level 100. And then for the enhanced reactor, it is on exclude. Just make sure that it is on exclude, and I'm going to show you what enhanced reactor means in a second. And then on the part right here where it says option filter settings, it is on the default unused. This is the default settings. And then where it says option tiers to dismantle, it says rare tier and lower. Now, when it is on unused, all this means anything right here is not going to matter. It's not going to touch anything when it comes to the stats right here. It doesn't matter where it's going to be, all of them in rare. Whatever you do, it's not going to touch anything. Even if you were to change this, it's not going to matter because this is on unused. So with the default setting, let's go to the reactors, and then we're going to apply this filter and show you what this does. So we click on reactors. These are all the reactors that we have. And then we have some that are favorite and some that are not. So that means if you don't want to delete something, just make sure you click favorite on it. And the way you do that on console, just press the left trigger and it'll put favorite on it. Like for instance, this one right here, if I want to favorite this, I'm going to press this and it's going to put the heart symbol on it. Now, if I don't want the heart symbol, I want a different symbol, I will just go here and then start clicking the left trigger and it'll go and change them. But if I want to put it to the original version, so I just click and hold the left trigger and then put it back to the original version, now it's not favorited anymore. So now to filter it, if you look on the bottom, it says remove all as junk, designate all as junk. So you want to designate all as junk. Anything that you don't want is going to be all junk. So for controller users, we're going to press and hold the right analog stick. And then it's going to put an icon, the delete icon, on everything that the filter asks us to do, which is rare, tier, and below. So as you can see right here, this is a rare tier and below. Some stats are yellow and some stats are blue or purple. It does not take that into effect. So it's going to put a delete icon on that item. Now, the only item is not going to put a delete icon on is going to be the gold one because we did not mess with the gold one. So let's go back so you can remember what the filter was, so you can see what we're talking about. The filter for the reactors was rare tier and lower. It did not mention anything about gold down here because this does not affect anything because that's unused. Now, if this is not what you want, so now you want to press the button that says remove all as junk, which is the left analog stick on controller. So I'm going to do this. And as you can see, it will remove everything as junk. Now back to the reactors tab. We're still on the default settings. So everything is on default. So we already have an example with the default settings, what it does when you filter it. So now let's say we want to change this. So we're going to change this to ultimate. So ultimate tier and lower, that means when we filter the reactors, it's also going to delete even the gold reactors. And we still have here as unused. So we're going to use this filter right here. And then make sure that you hit apply. If you don't hit apply, the filter is not going to take effect. So we hit apply. And then now we're going to go to the reactors. Now on the reactors, we're just going to hit the corresponding button, which on controller, it is the right analog stick. So we're going to press and hold it. And as you can see, it even put the delete icon on the gold reactors. This means it doesn't matter unless it is favorite, it's going to delete it. That is not the best option that you want, especially if you are looking for some good gold reactor. But I'm just showing you that example. That means you can do this. All right. So this does not take into effect anything about stats. As long as you put ultimate and lower, it is going to delete everything unless you put favorite on it. As you can see, anything that is favorite here is not going to be deleted. So let's go back to the reactors. But before we do that, let me make sure that I just take the delete icon off of them. Now back to the reactors, we have ultimate tier and lower, still everything that we had before, and we have unused. So now if we want to use the option down there, we're just going to put it on use. And now we have ultimate tier and lower is going to be deleted. And then on the bottom right here where it says rare tier and lower, and you see everything that is rare tier and lower is going to be included in the filter. So let's go and try this option right here to show you what it does. So make sure you hit apply first, and it would apply that filter. Alright, so now when we press this button right here, now as you can see right here, even though before when we had ultimate, it put the delete icon on all ultimate, but those ones, it didn't put the delete icon on them. And do you know why? It's because we didn't put anything that has to do with ultimate stats. That means the yellow stats. So this one has a yellow stats, and this one has a yellow stats, and this one, even though it is rare, but it also have a yellow stats. So that means it is not going to put the delete icon on it for it to be deleted. But everything that didn't have a yellow stats is going to be deleted. Like for instance, this one does not have a yellow stats and it's ultimate. It's going to be deleted. So that's what that filter option is. Now to put the final touch on our filter, we're going to come here in the reactor tier. We're going to put ultimate tier and lower. And then for the reactor level, we're going to keep it at 100. And the enhanced reactor, we're going to make sure it's still at exclude. And this time, I'm going to show you exactly what the enhanced reactor means. And here on the bottom right here where it says option filter settings, it used to be unused. So we're going to make sure that it is used. So that means anything that we do right here is going to take effect. And then down here, so we're going to go from rare tier and lower to ultimate. Now, that means this is going to even delete the gold reactors. But we can make it exclusive right here, where if we want to keep, like say, for instance, I want to keep skill critical hit damage. So I'm just going to say exclude dismantling. And then if I also want skill cooldown, so I'm just going to put exclude skill cooldown. So this means any reactor that has those two perks are not going to be scheduled to be deleted. So then we're going to come here, we're going to hit apply. Just make sure we hit apply. That way the filter can take effect. So let's go to the reactors. So we're going to come here and apply our filter. So we're going to press the right analog stick. And then what you're going to notice is that anything that says skill cooldown, anything that says skill critical hit damage are not going to be scheduled to be deleted. And you're also going to notice that anything that says enhance is not going to be deleted, because this one right here is enhanced. As you can see, those two little diamond, gold diamond that you enhance this from the machine, it is not going to be deleted because it is enhanced, and we make sure that we put that in the filter. That's what the enhance is. That's how this filter works. So anything that you want to keep, make sure it is favorite, and anything that you don't want to be deleted, just make sure you emphasize that in the filter section as excluded. So that's how this works. Now our last portion of the guide is going to be the external components. This is the default settings. As you can see right here, just take notice of everything the way they are. And always look at this right here where it says unused, just like the previous tabs. Now, one difference in here, as you can see where it says right here, external components with set effects, it is exclude. So that means when we set up our filter, it is not going to touch anything that has to do with being a set, like the Slayer set, Annihilation set. Those are not going to be touched because you make sure that you put exclude there. That way you don't mess with your set item. In any case, so if we want to go in depth with this setting, so we can just go here to just do just like we did with the other ones, ultimate and lower, and then make sure that this is exclude the set item. And then here we're going to use on the bottom right here, now let's say for instance we want MP recovery out of combat, which is a very important stats for Descendant that use MP. Then we're gonna come here and make sure that this right here says exclude dismantling. That's the way you want to make sure that you don't delete this part, because if you don't do that, then it's going to delete anything that has to do with MP recovery out of combat, which is something that you always need for Descendants that use MP. So same thing, you can come here if you're looking for certain things, just make sure that you exclude them. So it's going to exclude anything that you put exclude for. Exclude dismantling for, you just make sure that you put exclude dismantling for XP gain modifier. So that way, if this is something that you're looking for, then it is not deleted. So let's say we go with this setting right here. So we're going to go make sure that we hit apply. And then we're going to go to our components. And then here we're going to press the button to actually put the delete icon on stuff. Now with these settings, it's going to just read out anything that is not MP recovery out of combat. And anything that is not a set, and anything that have an XP gain modifier. So we're going to hit apply. And we go to our components. We're going to check. Delete this thing. But it didn't delete this because this is a set. And also this one is a set. But this one is not a set. And it does not have MP out of combat. Does not have the XP gain modifier. So they are all scheduled to be deleted. So we can hit delete without worried about it, because that's what we wanted. Now that is all how this works. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.